name's Ed, you already know that, and each time we start one of these videos, I mention to you that I'm 78 years old. I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything, but given the subject, maybe age does have something to do with it. The idea that as we get older, we get more concerned about the end of our life and that. And some people at least seem to think that has something to do with what we believe. First of all, I'd like to tell you about an hour and a half or 2 hours ago, my wife Glenn said to me, "Are you doing a video today?" And I said, "Yeah, I am. Marco's going to be here in a couple hours." So she said, "Well, you better shave." So I did. I thought I did a pretty good job. So she was sitting on the terrace and I walked out and I stopped in front of her. I said, "Take a look, what do you think? Look okay?" So she looks at me and she checks it out and she goes, "Well, we don't have time for cosmetic surgery, so I guess this will have to do." Ha ha ha. She didn't even laugh either. Anyway, what I'm going to talk about today, first of all, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the idea of my coffee clutch that I go to weekly. I've mentioned that before in other videos. I meet with 2 other people and we drink coffee and talk about a lot of things, but one of the members is a pastor, as I told you. One of the group of 3 is a pastor. And when he's there, I purposely talk about religion, especially the doctrine that he believes in, what he believes and all that. In one of our first conversations, I asked him about what he believed and why. He kind of explained that to me, and I broached the problem that both of us are, he's not quite as old as I am, but he's not that far off. And he's an educated man, and am I, and my point was that, look, we're going to be having discussions about things, talking about things that we believe are true or not. And the problem is, he had already pointed out to me that he believes that the Bible is true, inerrant, and accurate. Everything in the Bible, according to him, actually happened. So there we were with, right away in Genesis was one of the first things we talked about. He's talking about the idea that the dude in the sky, the invisible guy in the sky, made a man out of some earth and then proceeded to make a woman out of a bone. Both of those things, to me, do not make sense. They seem highly improbable, if not impossible, that could actually happen. So how can we have a rational and logical discussion? So I just brought that up, and of course we did go on having his point, his attitude is this: well, once you believe that God exists it doesn't matter what happens in the story, because God can just make it happen. I brought up the idea of a talking snake, a talking donkey, and those kinds of things that seem, I don't see how there could be an explanation for that. And he said, well, his attitude is, well, God just does it. No explanation. I mean, how he does it, but so we left it at that. One other thing I'd like to, oh, yeah, the pastor, he does it. I asked him about his job. He's a pastor, and I've actually been to a couple of his sermons. So I asked him about the idea, well, what exactly is your job? How do you do that? So he kind of explained that he talks about the Bible and stuff that happens in the Bible, and he pointed out that what he does is embellish stories in the Bible. And I went, well, is that okay? And well, sure, I'm talking about stories in the Bible. That's the word he used, embellish. So I take it as so it's okay to embellish Bible stories. So it's one of the things I'm going to do today if I get to it. But it's a little bit of a shotgun here, but in one conversation with a different friend, she said to me, when we were discussing the possibility of all these things that happen in the Bible, and the idea of, you know, the dude in the sky, the sky daddy and everything, she said, I don't want to live in a world with no magic. And for me, that was very telling. I mean, she used two negatives in that thing. I don't want to live in a world with no magic. And I think if I could rephrase that, I doubt if she would disagree that she was saying, I want to live in a world with magic. Ergo, I want to believe in magic, I guess. And that's one thing I find when I'm talking to religious people, is they want to believe. And in fact, I've been accused by them saying, you, as an atheist, the problem is you just don't want to believe. That's the problem. If you wanted to believe, you could. So they keep insisting that believing shit is your choice, and I don't see it that way. Okay, what I want to do is talk about and embellish the story from the Bible about everybody knows the story of the fishes and the loaves of bread. So the story goes something like this. Where's that's in the New Testament. Anyway, Jesus is on this mountain, and a lot of people have been following because they heard about him doing his magic stuff. And my take is on it, they were thinking, well, maybe this guy can heal people and do all that stuff. Maybe there'll be some free food. That's my embellishment. So they go there, and sure enough, Jesus is up there talking and talking, and the day wears on, and everybody gets hungry. The story goes. So what are we going to do? There's no food. Well, it turns out there's one young fellow there, or one person there, that has a couple of fish, and there's another guy that has a couple of loaves of bread. So Jesus said, okay, he doesn't say it, but he's going to pull some of his magic. He says, just feed the fish, feed all the people. There's 5,000 people there apparently. He says, feed the people, feed them the fish and the bread. So they just start doing that, and magically, of course, they just keep, they eat all the fish they want. So, and everything, and they keep eating the bread, and there's lots. Turns out there's some people in the crowd that not crazy about the menu selection. So somebody hollers, hey, how about some chips with the fish? So Jesus goes, okay. And there's a guy there from Idaho, and the guy just happened to have a potato in his pocket. So Jesus takes the potato and does his alakazam on the potato, and it turns into a French fry truck. Americans and Canadians all know about French fry trucks. So now the people have all the French fries they want. You want fish and chips? No problem. Grab a chunk of fish, grab a bunch of chips, and you got fish and chips. All the bread you want. Somebody hollers, hey, what about tartar sauce for the fish? Sure, no problem. So he spins up a great 45-gallon drum of tartar sauce. Any other thing you want. Somebody said, hey, how about something to drink with this? So he goes, yeah, okay. Suddenly, a Budweiser truck turns up there. So everybody's, hey, there you go, all the beer you want too to go with your fish and bread. Fish and chips and bread. Cool. There happens to be some Canadians there. I know the book doesn't say that, but there could have been Canadians there. If God wanted Canadians there, he could have Canadians there. So there's some Canadians there, and they're unhappy about the beer choice. They don't like Budweiser. So one guy hollered, how about some Canadian, Molson's Canadian? No problem. All of a sudden, a Molson's Canadian truck showed up. So it turned out it was a great day. All the people had all the fish and chips they want, and there was enough bread. Oh, one guy had a peanut, and he turned the peanut into a 45-gallon drum of peanut butter, so they wanted peanut butter on the bread, they could have that too, you know, no problem. Hey, if you're going to embellish, come on, we're going to embellish. So it turned out everybody had a great day, and, oh, there was one little thing. I mean, I think Jesus should have noticed. There was 5,000 people there. That means that 4,998 people that were there were idiots. They didn't bring any food. They go to a picnic and they didn't bring any food. It seems to me it would have been a good idea if you said, hey, look guys, the next time you come to a picnic or you're following me around, you know, bring a cooler with some food in it and everything. Otherwise, this conjuring stuff up is hard work, so next time bring your own food. So people were a little disappointed in that, but mostly it was a good day. Everybody went away with a full stomach. A couple of them were a little drunk. The Canadians, they got drunk because they were sucking down this Molson's. Good time. But everybody had a real good time. So that's my story about the fish and the loaves of bread, and a little bit of embellishing there so that people, the ones that wanted, could have fish and chips and stuff like that. Everybody got to take home food for the next day, leftovers, and so it was really a great day. Okay, thank you.